How are you getting on, eh?
That's bad. That's bad.
No Celestial Demons, they're not all the same.
Jesus Christ. Wouldn't know yourself, would you? Great boy, no.
The Yanks are going, what the fuck are they saying?
Did you see the insanity that was the Jodorowsky NFT thing on Twitter this week? It was just amazing.
No.
So,
what's this?
A gang of crypto bros bought a book which was the production notes of Jodorowsky's Dune. Yeah.
Nice.
2.7 million. So they bought essentially the NFT of it, which is a receipt, essentially. Thinking that they now had the rights to make a movie about it. That they had bought the rights to Dune.
Wait, no, so I mean, so I have Lord of the Rings downstairs. I'm allowed to make the movie of Lord of the Rings.
Well,
that's what they thought.
It's kind of. I mean, they can't be that silly, but I assume they thought that because they bought the original one. I'm not sure if it's the original one or whether it's a digital copy, whatever. But it's but people have been pointing out to them. Well, this has been available online from the person you bought it from since like 2001 or whatever it is. Not 2001, whatever, 10 years. Because 2000 is 10 years ago in my head. So then they kind of changed their tune. They were saying they were going to make an animated cartoon about it, and that they were going to then, I think they were going to scan the pages, so they must have the physical book rather than a PDF. They were going to scan the pages, turn them into JPEGs, call it a derivative work, until someone pointed out that all of these pages, your man already has them up on the internet. Anyone can get them. But there seems to be a bigger kind of thing behind it, in that the guy who bought it for 2.7 million, he sold an NFT to some American football player for 2.7 million. And because this was crowdfunded, there's kind of this underlying thing of saying, well, if someone bought some two NFTs for 2.7 million, that means no money actually changed hands, really. I don't know how this works. So that all the crowdfunded money your man just got. Or something. There seems to be some sort of, this is so stupid it couldn't be working. The guy got it. Yeah, you just keep thinking it's stupid. You keep thinking I'm an idiot while I'm over here with my 2.7 million. You don't get it. Maybe. I'm not sure. I kind of, that was Reddit investigations, as we know.
I'm looking at it here. Yeah. There were a group called Spice DAO, DAO, SBIC. We won the auction for 2.66 million euros.
Yeah.
Now our mission is to make the book public. Book was public, you were saying.
Yeah, it's already public. Well, I mean, it's online. Like, I mean, it's not officially released or anything, but it's there.
Produce an original animated limited series inspired by the book and sell it to a streaming service. Support derivative projects from the community. Well, yeah, NFTs always have that bullshit, don't they? Or all the crypto coins, they all have we're going to support the community.
Yeah.
Why are you
but
saying
that basically means just we're going to turn every page of the book into a separate NFT. That's a derivative piece of work. Yeah.
But it's not like you can't actually buy it, like, say, what's it called? El Incal.
No, it's the production notes. It's the Bible that he made to try and get the actual film made. You know, it's like...
Jesus. They only estimated it would go for between 25 and 35,000 euros. Yeah. Jeez, if I was loaded, I'd be happy to.
But you see, if you crowdfunded something, right? If you crowdfunded something and you have the total online of what the crowdfunding is, right? So you know that... You want to buy something, you go, oh, come on, lads, everyone in the AI WW community, we all chip in money, and you get 50 grand. All the person who's bidding against you has to do is just go, I can get this up to 49 grand without ever having. No, if he wants to buy it, but if he doesn't want to buy it, just do the minus $1, and he gets whatever. You know, that's so stupid. He gets to sell it. So if you bid against yourself, if you're selling it, bid against yourself to 49,000.
Oh, sure, that's like the fella. There's a fella on Instagram has promoted. He's so dumb. He has Instagram ads where he's telling people how to sell NFTs for whatever, 50 grand or whatever, for example. And it's like, what you do is you create the NFT, then you buy it, for 40 grand, and then you put the price at 50 grand. What? It's like this chump has ads on Instagram saying that he has this business that will help you. It's like, what the... I don't know what's going on. It's a mad world.
It's definitely it's a money laundering scam. That it can't be anything else. NFTs. There might have been the guy who invented it, kind of going, well, is there a way that artists can sell digital stuff? And you went, right, here you can sell your receipt that points to a PDF. You're essentially selling a link. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But immediately, a load of boys in the back room who secretly control the universe going, let's make some money. Yeah. Now that you know that we're not allowed to use all the electricity to run all those graphic cards to mine Bitcoin, let's get into NFTs. It's the future. Oh, well, good luck to them. In one sense, I really do hope that they spent 2.7 million and learned a huge lesson that they don't actually own the rights. But another part, he's just got. If the scam also build a bus, but that means round of applause for people who don't speak Irish. But I don't know. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
No, should they get away? They won't have to give that money back as the crowdfunding thing, because they'll just say, well, the thing we sold to the NFL dude, that's ours. This is for this.
Well, I think what they said is that the crowdfunding actually paid for the fees and the tax that had to be paid on it, or something like that. So it seems there's a scam.
So they didn't get the full 2.6 from the crowdfunding.
I'm not sure. It just seems very odd that if Reddit is to be believed, again, reiterate it, Reddit's history of investigating things is terrible. They have destroyed many lives. But it just seems weird that the figures are exactly the same. That's odd, if nothing else. That the guy who sold it and then sold an NFT and bought a completely different NFT for the same price that he sold the other thing. Anyway, could be just maybe all NFTs are 2.7 million. Maybe so. I don't know.
What does Saint Yodo get out of this?
Nothing.
I wonder.
Literally nothing.
It's his book, isn't it?
I will know these guys on Twitter now own the rights.
Was it him selling the book?
He does. No, some private collector actually just bought the book, as far as I know. He didn't own the rights to June anyway, because the whole thing
of course.
Yeah.
But it was his. Actually, when you make they're called Bibles, aren't they? When you make a Bible, who owns the rights to that Bible? If the film is made?
It depends. Well, you could have had the rights, and you have the rights for 3 years, and you've within 3 years to make your movie. And then you would have to buy it again. So he might have had the rights at that point when he was trying to make the movie, or he could have been trying to make going around. Here's the Bible. Here's what I want to do. Going around a load of producers to fund buying the rights. I don't know. I'm sure it's in that documentary. But even if he had the rights at the time the Bible was made, he didn't obviously have them by the time the new movie was made. So
I bet he's pissed themselves laughing at himself. I bet he must be pissing himself laughing in his. Nice studio in Paris, just fucking going, what the fuck is this? I don't want to tell you. This world's getting funnier. This world's getting funnier. 6 of them on his shelf going, could I sell these? But there is a film now coming out of, I'm thinking of Incal.
Yeah. No, because June fell apart, they did Incal. Like all the girl that's in this book is by Mobius, yeah. So it's like I'm sure it's a wonderful book, and it'd be a great one to get a hardback copy of, and it'd be lovely, and you sit on your shelf and you read it once, and every now and again when someone comes around you go, have you seen this? And you flick through it and then you put it back on your shelf. One of them ones. Used to be called coffee table books, aren't they? Like you just leave on, to kind of impress people that come around. Yes, I am into ancient Egyptian pyramids, as you can see from this book that I have here, or whatever it is, movie posters. But it's funny. I remember when people were saying to me, you should do NFTs, and I was going, no. I really should. Even when I didn't know they were as bad as they were, the whole thing just seemed...
Well, I don't know. I think I've been saying to Ag as well, I think she should do them as well, only because if you don't do them, someone will rip off your work and will do them of it. So that's my thing. But that's why you should do it.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that, really. Like, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, because the people are going to rip you off can do it even if you do your own ones anyway. So
well, at the moment, the way I does her thing, it chases after people who are using it. But the thing is that if someone puts it up as an NFT, then how the fuck do we prove? Well, you prove because we have the older one, I suppose. But a lot of these NFT sellers, they don't do their diligence. What the fuck am I saying? Diligence.
Diligence. Yeah, even my brain didn't want to say it.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
They and because I've seen a good few posts of people who are on those what are those graphic art websites where people do like furries and all that weird shit.
Like Fiverr and that kind of stuff. Is it like the?
Not Fiverr. Some stuff like that. It's like Shortstop, except it's like more cartoony. basically.
All right, okay.
People just taking down their profiles because they're getting ripped off because people make NFTs of their art, and then they're going to the NFT sellers and say, "Look, this is my art. I can prove it," and they just get ghosted.
Right.
Which is a new word I learned this week.
Really?
I would have just said blanked last week.
Yeah, it's the
but
same.
Yeah, I learned ghosted. I'm down with the younger people.
Okay.
It would seem.
Yeah, it's ghosted exactly the same as blanked. It's similar, isn't it? That you say it. It's where you just stop talking to someone and pretend you don't know them. Not it, that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, just ignore someone. Yeah, like on Tinder. Tinder's the one. Yeah, Tinder.
I was for some reason I ended up on the Glitch in the Matrix forum on Reddit, or subreddit on Reddit last night. It's a long time so I was on that, but I was just reading through kind of some of the stuff, and you're going, oh wow, this is amazing, whatever. And then there's a post about 4 posts down, 5 posts down, whatever it is, and it's going like, lads, can you stop with the fiction stories? We understand you all want to be writers, but it's just been everyone's just going in thinking it's a fiction thing, and just writing these mad stuff, and I was going, come on. But there's a load of ones which I do find interesting, just because you're talking about ghosting, why it came into my head was that we're talking about people who don't remember people. There was one where a wife and a husband, someone added them on Facebook and go, hello, it's a long time to see you, blah, blah, blah. And they're going, who the fuck are you? And but like
both of them don't remember. Wow.
Don't remember, but there's one has loads of photos of them being together. Her family remembers them. There's they went to the same church or something, or same group. All the people in the other group remember them. And so
this is some like traumatic threesome that went
no, but then there's
wrong.
Then there's another, like, because there's a few of them. Then there's a guy who his brother starts asking about a girlfriend he used to have, and he's going, you on about this girl? I think her name was Nish, and he's going, I can't remember this person at all.
You didn't have a girlfriend. You're gay. How could you?
And so he says, your man keeps going on about his brother, and he's going like, well, so eventually, he gets talking to his mum or rings his mum or whatever, and the mother goes, yeah. You did. She died in a car crash. So it turned out he had completely blanked.
Actual trauma, yeah.
Actual trauma. He blanked out the entire thing. So everyone was kind of going, will you, you need to get therapy. But the scariest one that I hope is true, that isn't a fiction, but going by I looked into the poster's kind of history, and he's, doesn't post about anything else or anything kind of weird. So he's got a pen pal off some legit website where you have to put in ID and all that. It's not just a random thing. And he got talking to this one for about a year or whatever. And then she sends a message going, I'm going away for a couple of months or for a month on holidays, and I won't be able to actually physically write you a letter because that's just the way it is. But here's my Instagram. So he goes, all right, grand. And he didn't think about anything. But a couple of weeks later, whatever, he's going, I must tell whatever her name was about this. So he goes on to the Instagram, and he noticed there hasn't been any posts since 2016. And he's going, oh, that's strange. And then he starts looking at the comments, and it's all, oh, terrible news. So sorry to hear about this. You were a lovely person. This is such tragic news. And he's looking into it. And she died in 2017. And he'd been talking to her in 2018 about stuff that happened in 2017. So he goes, what? So he writes again. Writes again and gets a response. And he asks her some questions about something that happened in 2017. Doesn't talk about the Instagram or whatever. And she writes back, and he got freaked out. He goes, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going, wow, that's really, really creepy or whatever. But then the comments is where the gold is. Go, you're talking to the murderer because she was killed. This is, you need to talk to the cops. Yeah, they have your address. And you can see him slowly going, no, you're joking. And then went, no, I never thought. I was going, right, that's super creepy.
Okay, no, I wouldn't have connected that, maybe. No. What's the other one? Catfished. That's what it sounds like. Don't we?
Yeah, the make the point is that's in order to join this pen pal site, you had to put up photo ID. But like the killer could have had photo ID. The whole point was for teenagers who, to make sure you wouldn't get catfished, that you could have a proper pen pal. So he says, like, all this could be rubbish, who knows? But I thought it was fun. It was kind of, no. But it's the classic ghost story, isn't it? I'm driving home, the taxi man's driving home out in the country lane or whatever, and there's a woman on the side, and she's hitchhiking, and it's rain. He goes, I better give this woman, even though it's illegal in most countries now to hitchhike, I better do it. And gets in the back, and she says nothing. She's very white.
Yeah. I've written one of them.
Yeah. And then it turns out, a year ago she died at that ferry cross and all that thing. That's probably nearly what the last one I probably read Budgio one, so maybe that's why it's so.
Could have been. It sounds exactly like it because they all sound exactly the same. I just put a twist on it. I was listening to Bob Wilson's Cosmic Trigger #1. There's 3 of them, isn't there?
There's 3, yeah.
So I must get the other ones as well. And
well, there's only 2, the 1 and 2 in audiobook. The third one hasn't been done yet, sadly.
All right, I'll have to read the other one. Use my eyes. Oh my god damn it! Damn you, Bob Wilson! Damn you!
Damn you!
You're 23. Keep seeing 23 everywhere. I'm actually. Fucking it! There's a 23 actually on my screen popping out. 23 notifications. I don't know how to show you that. Can I show you that? It'll be backwards.
You probably can.
Is the camera showing that? 23.
Yeah, it's completely in focus. There's no way that isn't just a blur. Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, well I don't know what to do. It would take too long to send you a screenshot.
How about I just believe you? Okay, I just believe you.
Oh yeah, you do believe me. Yeah. Of all the bits that are mad in that book, and there's fucking lots of mad bits in it. One thing really jumped out of me. Dr. Richard Alpert. Who's that? Ramdas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ramdas used to do gay conversion therapy. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard that.
It's in the book.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. I've had forgotten about that.
He used to get people. So gay men who didn't want to be gay anymore would come in and say, "Yeah, look, I don't want to be gay. Can I take some mushrooms?" And Ramdas would be like, "Yo, dude, let's do it."
What era is that then? Of Ramdas's life?
I presume he was
before Leary.
He still had the job in Harvard, was it, or Yale? Harvard, they were in.
Harvard, I think so. Yeah, one of
them.
So
he must have been working with Tim Leary at the time.
But it's it's pre-Ramdas.
Pre before they got fired and pre-Ramdas. And so but Robert Anton Wilson explains the therapy. It sounds bizarre. Like you go in and you're like take psilocybin and watch lots of porn, and there's a sex therapist with you, and this goes on for 3 days, and then you come out and you like girls suddenly.
Do you know?
I wonder could you do it for like a week or two though? You know, like I've never been gay, but like the wife's going away for a while.
For 2 weeks.
The wife's going away for a while. You know, I wonder what can happen this weekend. Like, you know.
I don't think you're a good candidate for that. I think you'd enjoy it.
No, I'd be really bad at it. Actually, I have a friend of mine who is...
going, I wasn't sure if I was gay before, but I'm definitely gay now. I really enjoy that.
There's the mate of mine teaches these... actually, no, I can't give this too much of this away, but I'll give you the bones of it. Every couple of weeks, these chaps from... Polish lads from one of the cities around us, they arrive up at one of these health spas and they get legal kind of steroids, and they get their kind of blood. It's a bit like what Lance Armstrong. I can't talk today. Lance Armstrong was doing with his blood.
Oh, right.
So he gets it frozen, comes back, and it's all fucking loads of energy. And they go off every couple of weekends and have these and just rent a house and turn it into a brothel. And just fuck the shit out of each other and any prostitutes they can find. And this type of stuff goes on in Catholic Poland. I'm delighted to tell you. You know, I'm like,
awesome.
I'm like, what? So like they just save up their money and they go to a doctor, and the doctor gives them all these drugs and great treatment for like fucking professional sports players, and then they just go and blow it on coke and hookers. And your man's like, yeah, it's like fucking hell. Like what a world. You know,
yeah,
like
nice.
What choice did I make that I didn't that I'm not doing that? You know, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, I last time I went anywhere, I went to Derry and stayed in a hotel and watched QI. That's what I did on my holiday. Yeah, it's funny you say about the gay conversion therapy though. Every time I put on a YouTube video on, YouTube seems to know of course it knows where you watch it, but seems to give you different ads or give you different recommendations if you're on your phone than if you're on the telly. Or,
Yeah.
So on the telly, and I suppose it's also that's the only place I probably see ads because I've them blocked everywhere else. There's a big ad comes up constantly about gay conversion therapy is legal in Ireland, and a whole movement to try and to get rid of it. It's going, Ireland's so progressive in so many ways and so fucking stupid in so many other ways. Like it's going, right, how's that legal? How is that still a thing that you can go? Well, it is because the Catholic Church still has its claws in somewhere, doesn't it? But
Well, it still owns all the schools, doesn't it, in Ireland? Primary schools. No, secondary schools. And primary schools, I think, don't they?
Some of them,
Don't
it's getting less and less. You get a lot of kind of, like the school I was at was the Marist, and so it was the Marist Brothers, but I don't think they have anything to do with it anymore other than the name or something. You know, same with the Christian Brothers, I think, pulled way back as well. Only because there's only 6 priests left in Ireland at this stage. The paperwork has just become too much for them. But yeah, at one stage, definitely, like there was, other than going to the tech, which was like the kind of vocational school, here, your other option was a religious school. That's it, and you had to be a Catholic to get into it. You had to have a baptismal cert to get into any of the secondary schools. That's my generation.
To get into most primary schools, even now, you still need it. Well, they can turn a blind eye in some places, but not everywhere.
They kind of, they're under an obligation, particularly with, say, foreign nationals and stuff like that, who, you know, you can't discriminate against religion or whatever. But I think they can not ask that, but I think they can still sort of ask. I know there's a few schools in our area that you need a baptismal cert to get into.
As the new kids walk into the school, there's a paint meter of how brown they are.
Oh yeah, the family guy one.
It's like birth cert, no birth cert. Don't even ask. Don't bring it up.
That's it. Yeah, very good. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, do you know what? One of the things that I do miss about Ireland is that Ireland is much more, well, Dublin anyway. Well, I suppose most of the country now would be. You just see a lot of foreigners. You know, you don't see any foreigners here. The only foreigner you see around here is me.
Yeah.
You know, there's one chap from Mauritius. I know him. He sticks out like a sore thumb, obviously. But that's it. I don't know any other foreigners here. It's mad. You know, even up in the other place. But like even in say, the bigger cities.
The cities, yeah, is it not?
Yeah, even in the cities, like you don't see many. It's all white people. It's all like, you know. It's like
I know when like in Dublin growing up, it was mostly Asians were the foreign people you'd see. It was even the whole kind of black community wasn't huge in Dublin. But now, like even here, there's such a like Eastern European. It seems as if there's an equal amount of Eastern Europeans as there is Irish people. You know, like you'd be walking down the street and not hear people speaking English for the whole street. You know, and like great. You know, it's like
I think that's great.
It's like you're on holiday in your own town. You go, oh,
See, you know, I remember like used to having to commute everywhere in Dublin. I got so sick of it. I just bought bikes, and every bike I had either got stolen or crashed or broke. I've been in a couple of accidents actually, and like on the buses, your head would be wrecked because you can just hear people talking, and you're like, oh my god, will you please? Why can't we be like Japan, where people just shut the fuck up on public transport? It's wonderful.
Smell knickers that they got from a vending machine. Just keep to themselves. Just keep to themselves.
Well, at least they keep to themselves, you know. And smelling knickers, Jesus. Yeah. You know that post from Boards from years ago, don't you?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, I'll come back to it then. No, but like over here commuting, like you just get on, and because people are babbling so fast in the language, like, okay, I can understand if I pay attention, but if I don't pay attention, then I have a clue what's going on. It's great. It's just I'm in my own world. La 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 la. I'm George Best with the hookers and the champagne. And the Boards that So Boards.ie was this. Well, it still is. This an old. It was a what do you call it? Message board forum thing. It's very popular.
It's
before
probably
Reddit came along.
Yeah, it's the precursor to Our Ireland, essentially. Like that's where everything.
Yeah. And on it there was a woman was writing on it one day. She was asking for advice, legal advice, because she was unemployed.
I didn't know.
You know
it? Yeah.
So she was officially unemployed. So this is only for the listeners then now, as you know.
Well, it's a great story. Great story.
She was unemployed, but I found a way to make a few extra bob on the side. She would sell her dirty knickers is the wrong word. They weren't dirty.
Her sexy,
but they were worn.
Used.
Worn. Yeah, they were worn knickers, right? Worn underpants. Whatever you want to call them.
Underpants.
What do Yanks call underpants? Knickers.
Panties.
They call them panties, yeah. And panty holes, that's what we call stockings.
Pantyhose, not holes.
Is it hose or holes?
Hose, H-O-S-E. That's my brain thinks it is.
Pantyhose, but they're not connected to the panty, so why are they... And what is a hose anyway? Like a hose pipe?
I assume so, yeah.
pantyhose. So these are knickers pipes.
Knicker pipes.
What the fuck?
Why they just call them knicker pipes?
Yeah.
But I'm sure pantyhose is probably French or European, so we can't really blame the Americans for this.
Le pantyhose.
We need to get someone on just about this subject.
That sounds sexy. Yeah. Où est mon pantyhose?
Yeah. And in Germany they're called Totenhosen, which is the dead dress.
That's es seinen Schleinen, Pantyhosen, Schleinen.
Die Totenhosen. Wo ist die
I can see your
Totenhosen?
Schmutzspitzen.
It's okay, we're Europe. We're allowed to be racist to other European countries.
You're what? Not racist, it's xenophobic, which is totally allowed among white people.
Oh, yeah. We don't hate them. We fear the stranger. We fear them.
So, she has, in Ireland we call this a scratcher, all right? She has, sorry, no, scratcher is the dole. Sorry, I'm wrong. Scratcher is the dole, which is...
which confusingly, in Northern Ireland, scratcher is also your bed. So...
Scratcher is bed.
Yeah.
So scratcher is dole, and dole outside of Ireland and England is your social welfare money, which I think is understandable all across the world. I'm looking at you, America. Is that what they call it? Welfare? Yeah. Okay.
Welfare. Yeah,
so she was making money on the internet selling her worn underwear, and she was on
eBay. We'll have it
on eBay. She was in the glory days of eBay. And she was looking for advice because she was getting called into the social welfare office because they have this thing still in Ireland where, you know, if you're unemployed for like 6 months, they're calling you in and say, look, we have to put you on a FOSS course, we have to get you a job, something, and your one is like, oh shit, I don't want to do this. And so she went in the first time and they were like, look, okay, we'll put you on this and that and the course. And she's like, okay. But then she gets a call a while later and she's like, they're after looking into her account and they see that there's money coming in. And they're like, where's this money coming from? And she's looking for legal advice off accountants and lawyers, like to say, like, am I allowed to have this money? Or like, have they got me? Have they got me by the short and curlies here? Because, like, you know, this is good money I'm making. What the fuck? And like, she went through like what she was doing. She went through how she was doing it. She would go into Penny's, Primark, cheap kind of clothes that are made by people, poor people in Bangladesh and houses.
Blind children in China.
Horrible stuff. Don't buy from Primark or Pennies. And they, she would go in and just buy 7 pairs. Not 7 pairs. That's 14. She would buy 7 underpantses, wear them
for an hour,
one day.
Take a photo. And then
take photo of herself wearing them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but like not her face, just like her arse. You know.
Her regions.
And and then she would make money that way. And I was like, it's fucking genius, man. What a legend.
And she would, to this day, would still be making money if she hadn't been so greedy to get the 188 quid off the social welfare. But like when you think of it, there was a lot of people who were like kind of these like little small nixers, I suppose, that were doing it.
Nixers, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
That you can people thinking, oh, that's fine, aren't you? You're allowed to sell grass at the weekend, aren't you? Is that not okay? That was okay. On the dole selling drugs.
What do you mean? I'm not allowed to have an Etsy store that makes $500 a week. What?
But it's not a real job.
It's not work. Yeah. It's my underpants.
Was there ever a conclusion? Did she get caught? Is she in jail now? Is she?
It's as far as I know. That's
I know someone who, as a musician, was on the dole and got caught by the social welfare. As everyone in the 70s and 80s who was a musician was probably on the dole, and probably still is. Although they're changing it in Ireland that musicians are going to get a basic income, so that's interesting.
Yeah. But how do you prove you're a musician though? Well,
you prove it by here's the gigs I've done that paid me money. Here's my CD sales. I assume there's going to be some sort of. I earn 20 grand a year from my music rather than I have
like most gigs,
4 songs on Spotify.
I'm not talking proper bands that do tour, but I'm saying like, you know, Paddy Riley who plays Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. In
I assume it's not them.
Pubs.
I assume it's not that.
It can't be them. They just
Jack
get cash. Like.
Yeah, I assume it's Jack L and whoever's, you know, the Frames, whoever's not,
right.
You know, but probably not them because they're probably. Although Jack L was on Facebook, wasn't he, busking for money during the lockdown? So maybe it is for Jack L. Just anyway. But this guy got caught anyway, and I don't think there was some sort of thing that we're going to tell the tax man or whatever. What it was like the social welfare system, but you have to pay back this, I don't know, year of social welfare. But he ended up having to pay €1 a week for the rest of his life. that was the deal he made. Still alive.
Could just move to Australia. What's Australia? Isn't it?
Well, you can't because you probably have a criminal record.
Oh, they wouldn't let you in. Yeah, it's too late. Yeah. But what was the thing with Australia? No, not Australia. Ireland. I think Ireland's only allowed to have an arrest warrant for you for 3 years, I think.
All right.
And after the 3 years is up, so say if you're wanted for murder, so if they haven't got you within 3 years, then they have to get you on some other charge, I believe. But like, I know two fellas, not murder, who
yeah, it was manslaughter. It was okay. They didn't mean to do it. They didn't plan to do it.
Ran away from Ireland for 3 years, yeah. And then came back and...
So the statute of limitation is 3 years once it's not murder. Like, you can do whatever you want and just run away for 3 years and you're fine. Is that it? Is that the law here?
Yeah, but like, look, if they know where you are, like if they wanted to get me, they'd just get onto the consulate in Warsaw and they'd find me, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they were on the run, like, it wasn't...
Yeah. It wasn't fun.
And I'm not excusing. No, I don't know. I know two lads who did it. I wouldn't know them well. Yeah, well, I went to school with one of them and he was a scumbag. But like... Right.
Do you want to give him his name and address, maybe?
No, well, I better not, because he did something awful.
Right.
I hope karma... Look, he has a crap life, and he deserves everything he gets. But, like, he shouldn't have ran away, you know?
Okay. Change the subject. Do you like a t-shirt?
Yeah, it's a lovely t-shirt, yeah. I must get one.
The interesting thing about this t-shirt is it's really purple in real life, but anytime you put a camera on it, it looks blue. Like, that looks
bluish.
But
blue.
it's not. It's very, very purple in real life.
Like how purple? So, like Wexford purple? No, like purple and gold, like
Prince purple. Like that. It's exactly Prince purple. So
Prince, I don't like it anymore. Then if it's got Prince.
It's not the new Prince. It's just the same purple.
Good. Okay. Then it's got nothing to do with Prince. Then I said so. You like Prince? Who likes Prince? Yeah. Someone. Yeah.
Everyone other than you.
I just can't. It's. Do you know what it is? It's like I remember years ago I was living with a chap who loved Clap Your Hands Say Yeah, and I hated him. I hated Clap Your Hands Say Yeah. I hated the way he sang. It was
I don't even know that. I've never even heard him. So.
It was a bit like, you know the way David Byrne sings in that band? What's he in? It's Talking Heads?
Yeah.
And your man, not LSD Sound System. Is that what they're called? What are they called?
LCD Sound System. James Murphy.
Like the way that, like he sings, but like he's a pretty bad singer. David Byrne's the same. Like they do that a lot.
Yeah.
They're bad. Like they're bad singers. Like they shouldn't be singing in those bands. Like James Murphy's like, I have to give up.
They're doing all right for themselves, in fairness.
well, that's what James Murphy was like. I never wanted to be the singer in this band. No. What the fuck? Why are we so successful? What the fuck is going on here? I need to quit this band. I want to be producer. And but it's the same with Clap Your Hands Say Yeah. The singer is terrible, and I just like he's like keep listening. And eventually, it took me I must have listened to the album fucking 20, 30 times before
Stockholm Syndrome.
Actually, these are really good. These are really good. Really good musicians.
Man, I must check them out. What like is it? What is it? Like?
They'd be like who they like. They were around that time of that like Montreal explosion. Is that right?
Yeah.
Fire,
so Arcade
Beta
Fire, all
Band,
that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Something like that. They're like them, but a more kind of indie, more. Right,
okay.
Less frills, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, that Arcade Fire have 100 million members or something, don't they?
Yeah, that's actually because that LCD Sound System, the documentary about when they first broke up and they did the final gigs. Arcade Fire on stage with them as well. That's a great documentary. I haven't seen it, by the way.
Oh, that sounds good. I didn't even know there was one.
So there's like
I like them. I like your man James Murphy.
So it's kind of following him around for the day before the final gig and a bit of history, right. And then the day of the gig, and then there's a whole separate. Remember when Blu-rays had discs and stuff like that? Rather than the whole second disc was the live gig, the final gig, which is really good as well.
Right. Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. Shut Up and Play the Hits. That's what it's called. Very good.
Ah. Okay. Good. No, I like them. They're good. Even the young lads like him. I put them on. Yeah,
we seen them there. That was the last gig I think I seen before lockdown was LCD Sound System. It's very good. I could be wrong. Right. Probably Biffy Clyro. Anyway, this is Duncan Barford's t-shirt. So it's Occult Experiments in the Home. It was meant to be delivered to me by the 27th of December, but it ended up in customs in Ireland.
Brexit, man. What the fuck? I have stuff has gone missing. I've had to pay for stuff.
The actual tax charge and the custom charge was €1.38, and then £7 for fees. It's like, I use pricks. Yeah, and then
You have fees as well.
Oh, well, handling charge. Yeah. That's £7, whether it's, or whatever it is. I don't know if it's £7. I think it's £7. So if your custom fees are £1,000,000, it's £7 fees. If they're 50 cent, £7 fees. That's the handling kind of fee.
Jesus, what a rip-off, huh? Yeah, that's it. I bought books there over Christmas from England, and I swear to God, I'm never, ever, ever, ever buying anything from England again. It's such a ball ache.
Well, you see here, it's another kind of shoe in for Amazon, because that doesn't happen with Amazon. If I buy, because I tried to buy books not on Amazon, I bought some Bill Drummond books that also got from Bill Drummond's thing, got charged £15 something on 2 books, and I've spent, I don't know, I got books orders £40-50 off Amazon, arrives 2 days later, nothing, literally nothing. So unless they're factoring it all in. But if like the VAT rate is 21% in England, 23% here. So if it's the VAT difference, it should be 2%. So on books that cost £30, it shouldn't be £15 in
no, of course not.
So it's just, I don't know. It's like, to be conspiratorial for a minute, it's almost as if they want Amazon to win. But it doesn't matter. Amazon's opening in Ireland, I think, next month. Amazon.ie, so they're saying. So we have finally been possessed by the great demon lord that is. But yeah, but it's like the same thing, because or not the same thing. It's that thing of, you go into Eason's here, which is the kind of the big bookshop, and there was a book I was looking at. It was £40. £40. I was going, right, okay, £40 for a book. I've done that before. I don't really want that. Just check what it is in Amazon, because you just scan the barcode and it'll come up.
23.
$12.99. And I go like,
$12.99. That's some difference.
Yeah, and I'm going like, well, like, I mean, I think, you know, and part of me goes, well, I should support the local, and I should, but like,
no, when it's that much.
They can also buy it off Amazon for $12.99 and sell it to me for $20 and make £8. So, you know,
yeah, of course, yeah.
But
yeah, so Duncan, I know you're listening. Get your books off Lulu and put them on Amazon, will you? Because I mean, fucking hell, man.
No, he
That's
actually
ridiculous.
he's in the process of doing it. Yeah, he's going to put some of the old ones up as well. Yeah. But
so I bought his Raziel book. That's fucking bonkers. Mm-hmm. That is not what I expected at all. Like, you know, I thought it was going to be.
There's lots of riding in it or something. It's actually.
There's a load of sex in it.
Good man, Duncan.
No, I'm not going to give it.
It's a good sex, though. Was it awkward sex?
Do you know what it is?
No.
Are
you thinking of Duncan when you're reading it?
No.
I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure how I feel. I have a full erection, but I'm not sure how I feel.
ASMR.
Yeah.
Sex with Angels voice.
Audiobook. And then his Trump member.
No, because I presume when I bought it, I presumed it would be a bit like, do you remember in the Baptist head books where Duncan would be in a trance and Alan would be asking the questions.
Like the template.
I thought it was going to be something like that. I thought it was just going to be channeled answers and stuff like that. But no, there's a narrative and a story in it and stuff. There's this sexy young one who's her dad's a bastard, and she really likes the guy in the book who is Duncan, and they go boom boom together quite a lot.
Right.
And there's lots of Raziel. Raziel is pretty kick-ass. He's Mr. Wisdom. He's like, yeah, look, I shouldn't be telling you this stuff, but I like you lads, you know, which is cool. Right. You got to respect the guy who does that. It's a bit like, you know, when you go into work, or sorry, I mean, when someone new starts in your job and you're like, yeah, look, I'm not supposed to show you this, but it's easier. Yeah, just do it this way, like, you know.
Yeah,
it's a bit like that. That's
you're not meant to do it this way, but this is how I do it.
Yeah, but it's easier. Let's say, and look, you can say it took 3 days when it took you half an hour, and you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Don't tell anyone I said that.
Yeah.
And then you find out that she is the boss's daughter, and you know.
Yeah, you're fired. Yeah.
Oh well, I'll just get my P45 now. Then, nice working here. Bye everyone. You know.
But
why is it so hard to work with people, Tommie?
Asking me, I sit in my own in an office surrounded by no one.
No, I'm the same. Like I have these things in my, because my work got one of my jobs got bought out by a bigger company, and everything takes much longer now. And like I've been a freelancer for the best part of 20 years, like, and I'm used to, like you, when you need to do something, you just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, this week I need to, I don't know, say for example, I need a new website, web page. I need a new web page.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, I can't do that, so I just go to Fiverr get someone from India, China, Korea. There you are. It's $50. They make it for you. It's sound all done.
Yeah.
And it's like in work because there's so many people. It's like, I asked for something 3 weeks ago, and it's like, is that happening? Yeah, it's on the list. It's like, yeah, but how long's the fucking list? Like,
yeah.
What the fuck do you guys do?
It's like such a slowdown. I remember when I was working in Dublin on the computer game stuff, and I was like, apart from the thing, will you slow down, please? It was like, because it was like, in a sense, you're not getting into the rhythm of how things are done in a corporate setting. It's kind of like, so you're told to draw a chicken, so you have to think about that for a few hours. Then you draw a chicken over the course of a couple of days, and then don't tell anyone, and then you come in on Friday and you go, here's your chicken. Where I was going, can you draw a chicken? Yep, there you go. Oh no! No!
Yeah. I don't like it, Tommie. I don't like this way of working.
There's nothing worse than it's fine when you're kind of sitting at home or in your own office, but when you're in a public office or whatever, trying to pretend like you're working is just the hardest thing in the world. It's so boring too as well. Yeah, can't even watch porn. Just sitting here looking at a spreadsheet that I don't understand.
Yeah, it's strange that it's kind of like it's like, shouldn't it be like, do your work as quickly as possible, then you can go home and have life.
Yeah, but
that's the way I look at work. You see, that's
the way it should be. That's very Tim Ferriss, isn't it? It's just 4 hour work week. That kind of do the thing you have to do, and drop all the pretending stuff.
Yeah.
But people don't like that, because if you're going, I'm paying you for 10 hours, rather than going, I'm paying you for this task or whatever. It's just I don't know. I get it's so inefficient. It's so ridiculously inefficient.
Yeah, it is. It's really inefficient, because it's like, wait, hold on. That's basically what labor is like. Someone is paying for our time, but like my time is way more valuable than what you pay me.
Sure,
way more valuable. Like I can't put into words how valuable my time is, because I don't have a lot of it. I'll be dead soon. In the grand scheme of things, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Or according to Jason's fucking sigil yesterday. Thanks, Nugan. Dead. Fucking hell.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Nugan has invented this computer sigil-y thing that does your mantra chants for it. And you get a magic number at the end. And,
really cool, yeah.
Mine was 13. So, okay, well, that's interesting. And then when I put it into why can I not speak today?
Because you're
yes, thanks, Tommie.
You're conflating two things: geomancy, which is the divination using the earth thing, and gematria, which is the number thing. That's why
geometry.
The reason I know you do that is because I do that. That's exactly where my brain is. Yeah.
And so the first thing that came up was when you put 13 into this thing was dead. So I said, okay, well, I better not go horse riding today, which I did anyway. I didn't die.
Yeah, yes.
I laugh in the face of death. There was crows going, Morgan, Spud's gonna die, Fuck out of here, Morgan.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I'll show you who's boss. Me on my horse.
I had a really fun.
No, I was thinking about I was thinking about this because something came up on the Discord during the week, and I wanted to ask you why don't we work well with people?
All right, okay.
And because me and you are similar like that. We're kind of lone wolves. We have to do things our own kind of way. Now we have to do things. Now we have to do them our own way. We do them better when we do them ourselves. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it's
I have an answer to this because I've thought an awful lot about it. And it's only my experience of... I think things get diluted when there's more than one person involved. And it all depends on what your... I suppose your goal is or whatever, but I find particularly with creative stuff that one person always ends up being the secondary person, and you just become like the monkey for whoever has the most dominant personality, which I don't like. It's kind of an awful lot of stuff where I've had, say, doing stuff and people have asked for changes or whatever. Very rarely does it make it any better. It just makes it different. You know what I mean?
Different. Yeah, exactly.
So and that's like and. Also, my creative thing is I want to see what I can do. There is a possibility, and I know there's a possibility that if I worked with someone else on a screenplay, say, that it would be a much better screenplay. But I'm not really interested in I want to see what I can do. You know what I mean? I want to create my thing. Yeah. So it's there's those elements. But there's also, the other thing is that it's what we were talking about. People work in a completely different time frame than I do in that, and, you'd be going, well, that's... I don't know, write a song together. Okay, we'll start on Thursday. And then that person's going, yeah, we'll do the next thing in a month. I go, no, we'll do it tomorrow. We're getting this done. It's no.
And then the juices are flowing. Like, let's get this done.
And it's very different. I find that, I don't know, I get things done when I do them myself, to my satisfaction.
Yeah. Which is that old cliched, too many chefs spoil the sauce.
Yeah. And that's not to say that, like, I mean, if someone hires me to do something, I'm completely, that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to, that's not my creative outlet, but it doesn't feel like my creative outlet, the end kind of result of it. If someone's, if I'm doing, someone hires me to do a picture for the podcast or something like that, and I do it, and it's completely to their what they want and all that, I understand I'm a monkey in that situation, and that's fine. I'm not trying to express myself through it, and that's 100%.
Yeah, that's different.
But that's so I can do it. There's absolutely no problem. But it's if we're working on a
but you're still doing it alone, though, really.
Yeah, well, you're under direction, but definitely. Like, I don't want them in the room with me, right? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's, because I was connecting this, because it's kind of like why, it's why the likes of me and you aren't involved in like magical traditions, because we wouldn't work well in them.
No.
You know what I mean? Sorry, no, hold on now. Let me rephrase that. It's not that we wouldn't work well in them. I think, like, we'd carry our own weight, we'd contribute, do all that kind of stuff. But the thing is that, well, personally, anyway, it'll wear me down, because routine kills me. Routine, just makes me depressed.
Right,
so,
and routine stabilizes me, so.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's because remember we were doing those NFT. No, sorry, the NFT.
Remember we were doing that scam where we got 2.7 million off the internet?
Don't you remember the personality things with the NFPZ numbers?
Letters? Myers-Briggs stuff.
Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things that came up for me was like, oh yeah, this person hates routine, and like, oh, finally some fucking recognition,
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think that's why. It's just that it's not the working with other people that's the hard bit. It's just that other people don't contribute as much, or they free ride, and that brings us down. That brings us down, and then we're just like, well, if they're not bothered, why am I bothered?
Yeah, there's definitely that. But I think what can happen is that you immediately slip into the role of leadership, even when you're not being the leader, because you're the person who's actively doing stuff. And I notice
who's doing stuff.
That I get into that and I'm going, I don't want to be the fucking leader. Why am I always the leader? Like, and it's like even, and so you're certain side of creative stuff where you end up doing that, taking that role, and you end up doing it all, and then you go, why am I even doing this? I could do this on my own. Only now I'm limited by this other person or these other people's thing, and I'm doing all their work too. What's that about?
Yeah.
So I could be at home doing my own whatever website or whatever. But we're also cranky. We don't like other people. But it's funny, like, but even in that, like,
no, come on, we do like people. It's just
at a distance.
Which?
Like
no, here's my thing with people. People will always disappoint you, and I know that because people let themselves down. They're definitely good. No, let me put it another way. We ourselves let ourselves down the most over our lifetimes. We do. Yeah. Accept it. It's fine. Don't kill yourself over it. You're going to set yourself aims and goals that you won't reach, but at least fucking try. But there's a million other things that you'll let yourself down, because you might shout at your kid today when you said you wouldn't. That's letting yourself down. Okay. Now, but you make up your excuses for yourself. Oh, it's okay for me to do that because he annoyed me. But like, so to bring that then to the next thing is that, like, everyone is going to let down everyone eventually. You know what I mean? So it's not that you're better off shielding yourself from pain or anything like that, but it's just accepting it and saying, no, you know what? I've experienced enough of working with other people, and I've had 100 million jobs where it all went fucking pear-shaped at the end.
Yeah.
So it's better for me just to do stuff on my own. And like, all this got me thinking, because we were talking about the Baptist Head stuff on one of the channels, and it was like, when you're doing this kind of great work stuff or whatever, like, it is harder because you've no map. No, sorry, not there's no map. There's loads of maps. And so you kind of don't know where you are because you're not in a tradition for a guru or teacher to tell you. But at the same time, it's like, well, unless it was a one-on-one guru, if you were just in a group, A group would make me not like doing this.
Yeah, no, I get you. And just to add to the guru thing is, my relationship with a guru would be someone that I could never possibly become friends with, because of what you're all that they'll let you down. They're not going to be the person you want them to be or need them to be or anything like that. And I'm quite happy with having a
professional relationship.
Not even a professional, a non-contact relationship. And like, I really enjoy, like, say, listen to all the Christopher Wallace things and never actually contacting him or whatever, unless there was something I really needed to do. But that, I like that dynamic where there's no, he doesn't know me, I don't know him. There's no, he can never let me down on a personal level ever. And grand, because then it's a completely separate thing. It's like, imagine wanting to learn how to, I don't know, use Word. And, you get a teacher, but you don't want to, you just want to learn Word. You don't want to be friends with them. You don't want to know about their family. You don't want to know about their past. That it's just like, just teach me Word and then fuck off, whatever. But it's like that's the kind of.
But like, Tommie, are we? Are I seriously can't talk today. Are we wrong? Like, is there some shadow ego thing here that's saying that? Is there too fucking egotistical and you should go and do it?
I don't think it's egotistical. I think it's trauma. I think it's you've been hurt, man, and that it's a protection thing. That for me, like, it's not all of it. Like, I mean, there is a part of like all the things where I've said that are absolutely true, but there's also that kind of, I'd say there's an element of protection, not wanting to be hurt, not wanting to go all in or something. There has to be. There has to be some element of it. And I mean, justifiably, too, because that's my experience. So, I
wonder.
There is an interesting thing, because you talk about this in group work, because I've been reading a lot of Alice Bailey at the minute, for some reason. Yeah, I've all kind of noticed yourself, you get mad, and not mad, but you're, someday you're there, and you're going, why am I watching all these theosophy videos? How did that start? What was it that, and you don't know, but you go, all right, that's where I am, but you can't remember, where it came from. And so anyway, Alice Bailey, who was kind of somewhat of a sequel to Helena Petrova Blavatsky, and she set up the Lucis Trust. But I've been reading a lot of her stuff, and when I was young, it was one of the first things that I was exposed to in spirituality. And the books are great, but they're really complicated, and they're you think Crowley speak or that kind of stuff is tough. These are worse than that in many ways. But I remember when I was reading them when I was like 18, 19, I just go, you just glaze over and you'd go through 6 pages, go, I've literally not one clue what's going on here. But I've been reading them recently and I can make more headway. And even now they seem an awful lot more simpler, only because I understand the concepts. If you're coming to learn the concepts from these, you're not. But when you go, all right, it's discussing the concept. And even to a point where it seems almost like, God, I'd like him to go into more depth there. It's the opposite kind of thing. But anyway, incidental. But they're talking about the whole thing is that it's the person, from a spiritual point of view, the individual, as they call it, units, is completely, not the irrelevant, but it's irrelevant. And that it's all about group work. And to kind of put it in perspective of that, a great thing happening that is the logos of the solar system. So that's the main reason why we're here, is because he decided to do something. It was something redemptive that he was trying to achieve, and so he set up all of this through sound, which is amazing. There's a whole lot of it sound, and it came down in the planet, the Earth itself. That's way more involved in this, and that
sounds like the Silmarillion, the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, was it? I don't know. I've never read that. And so the planet itself has a goal, spiritual goal, an evolutionary goal, or whatever, then the human. And it's kind of this is my example of how I put it in my head. It's kind of like a cell in your knee thinking it was the important thing, when it's you thinking you're the important thing. When in fact, you're not even the important thing, because it's the Earth. And the Earth thinks it's important. No, it isn't, because it's the solar system. It's only in working with these kind of, seeing yourself in the greater scope of these things. That's how they approach, and it goes, right, that's grand, that's fine. Is it paying my mortgage? No, it isn't, so keep that to yourself. But their whole thing is on group work and group participation, and seeing yourself not as not as an individual, but as the human race, is the the soul thing. But like, that's aspirational. I don't think we're remotely there as a species anyway. So.
Don't know, maybe I should push myself to try and maybe I don't know.
But I don't know. Saying no, well, I don't know. Saying that you're very active, and we're both active on Adventures in Woo Woo Discord in the community. Like we have, like I'm good at community building. Like I've the Facebook groups, the Discord, and all that. It's I was the admin of CMG for 2 years. I mean that's as community driven as you can be.
Right, look, I'm quite active with like my outer world. You know what I mean? Like I do the horse riding. There's the horses down the country. I'm like I have kind of like more friends, contacts down there than I do up here, but I still have my old friends up the road. They're not too far, like, and I see them now and again. And I'm starting, because I'm living here a bit longer, I'm starting like, okay, what I'm saying is I'm actually more active outside of Woo than I am in Woo, because for me Woo is cool, but also Woo's on the internet. You know what I mean? It's the real world, and it helps me be a better person, or has helped me become a better person. Getting the ego in there again. And it's still kind of a hobby.
Yeah, and I think you're right in that, because it's these. I see spirituality, for me, I'm only talking about myself, but I see spirituality as something that informs the actual thing you're doing in your life. It's not the thing you're doing in your life. You know, it's like unless you're actually being a spiritual teacher, then it becomes.
Well, that's different.
Yeah. So for me, it's not that I'm defining myself as I am a case magician. No, I'm not. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I'm a vlogger, podcaster, whatever it is I do. I'm a wife. There you go. Interesting Freudian slip. I'm a husband. At the weekend, I'm a wife. I'm a father. My function, as Steve I, his great thing is, your first function is to be kind. Everything else is irrelevant. Your second function is then to be whatever you are. In his case, as a musician. And then your third function is the, sorting your spiritual thing out, but it's in that order. So like where you can kind of define yourself as a woo, and you go, that's what I am. Well, I'm a woo, and then go through life and go, well, what are you actually doing though? What are you doing with your life? And I think it's an easy kind of trap to fall into. For me, other opinions and that are absolutely available, and if you define your life as being a witch or whatever it is, good for you. I'm literally only talking about from my point of view, but I do think there's something in it to a bit more universal. So you kind of putting on yourself, to bring it back to what you're actually talking about, is that you feel there's an obligation for you to make it, in a sense, your life, your actual life. And I don't think there is. I don't think there is at all.
No, there's not. Yeah. No, I don't want it to be. Like I couldn't imagine that more boring than going to meetings and just talking about, I don't know, for example, Dr. Non-Medical, Dr. Stephen Skinner's Damon Brand books. Do you know? Yeah.
Yes.
No. What I mean is, okay, I'll put it another way. It's like I'm just thinking here in my head, like when are the times when I've been in groups for long times where I had good times, or productive times, and like none of them have been work, because in work everything is a single focus, and it's terrible, But whereas like different groups of friends, say, or like involved in sports teams or anything like that, because everyone is like, they meet on the Saturday to play football, and then might hang out, go for pints after it. Everyone is into way different things, and so everyone isn't talking about how well you played today. Everyone's talking about, oh jeez, I was at the doctor last week, I found something on my balls, or whatever. I found me dad's Viagra, or whatever. Having the crack. That kind of stuff is I think that's community right there. That's community, and I think that just for me, sitting around and just focusing on one thing is not community. It's doing what your man Jans Grieber. Remember we were talking about him ages ago. He was a contemporary of Jung, and he was saying the way the world is going, everything's becoming compartmentalized. And it's really bad for society. Like it's terrible for society. So we have to transcend that. So instead of being in your pigeonhole, you need to be above that and see them all for what they are. That's what I'm into.
Yeah. I get you.
But that's me. I'm different.
I do,
as you all know,
the idea of building a fake monolith and dressing around and pretending I'm a monkey, though, in a group setting. Like Duncan mentions in his last podcast, where that was one of the things they did. Like from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they put on Dust Spack Soasta or whatever the things. Right? Okay, yeah. But I like, it's one of those things, those experiences that I would enjoy more talking about than I would doing it. It's like, I'm only doing this so I can later talk about it. That,
Yeah, I get you.
You know, and it's kind of, that's absolutely missing the point of it or whatever. But I've never felt the need for to want to have to do any sort of, let me see, in-person group work. But also because I've never, up until very recently and only very infrequently, have I met anyone else who's into any of this stuff. So there was never an opportunity anyway. There's no local lodge here, or there's no...
Thing is as well though, like the rituals that we're doing, like you can't do them on your own. So you do actually need another person at least for those, you know. And probably the more people you have in them, but there's probably a limit as well. Maybe if it goes past 4 or 5 people, maybe it goes to shit. You know?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah. Lynn McTaggart says 8 is the optimal group work. Alice Bailey would say 9. So it's somewhere, it's small either way, you know, or even 3.
But I wonder, is it? Because like I remember, you know, being young and going to the Good Friday Mass. Good Friday, it's not a Mass, a service.
You kiss Jesus on the cross.
You kiss Jesus on the cross, but like, and they put on this kind of, it's almost like theatre, the way that there's different people doing the voices of Pilate or Jesus or Judas and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, there's magic in the air here, like, or something in the air, you know? So like, and how many people was in a church back then in the 80s? There would have been, I don't know, 150, 200, maybe more. It would have been full to the rafters kind of thing, you know? Yeah. So maybe, well, then again, I suppose the people in it aren't doing that, and it's the priest and the actors.
But I also, there is a part of me that would love to have a Sunday morning thing where I go and listen to a lecture by someone who I think is awesome and who I'm into, rather than, you know, someone tell me you're going to hell and you're a shitty person or whatever it is. You know, if you went and this week we're going to our local church or hall, whatever it is, and Duncan Barford's there, he's going to speak on you know, the chakras. Next week it's Jason Miller, he's going to talk about I don't know, Hecate. You're all right, cool, you know, or it's some you know, cool kind of interesting spiritual teacher that you go to every week or something.
Imagine Alan Watts had been your priest. That'd
I know, like imagine going and every Sunday morning going on his houseboat and listening to him talk. You go, yeah, I'm into this. Where's the Kool-Aid? Who is the Kool-Aid? Straight into that. Yeah. We talk about this thing. It's
Yeah.
Okay, so the documentary we're going to talk about is, let me see, are you ready for this? Is Enquête sur le monde invisible. That's the worst pronunciation anyone on this planet has done of anything French. Can you do a French accent?
Oui, mon pantyhose.
Yeah. Enquête, that's definitely not French. Anyway, in English it means investigation into the invisible world. If you're looking for it on YouTube, it's called Elves, Sea Monsters, what's it called? In Iceland, something like that. Anyway, I'll put a link in the show.
Investigations into the invisible world, Iceland will get it.
Yeah. It's a 2002 French documentary about people in Iceland. I seen this originally.
HD, isn't it?
Well,
when did HD come out?
Well, I mean, you can get films from the 40s that can be in HD, you know, but because it's just transferred from film. I'd say this was in HD. It's just it's 360p is the highest resolution I've been able to find it. If anyone else has this in any sort of better resolution, please let me know. I'm like, I even went looking to try and buy it, anything, but no, it doesn't seem to be anywhere. So it's essentially a talking head. Series of talking heads talking about experiences in Iceland of elves, sea monsters, ghosts, all the woo stuff, UFOs, the whole lot. And it's done extremely interesting and really well shot in that it's not just a guy standing there with, you know, his bookcase behind him or whatever. Each little scene is done, looks like a film, it's shot really well. And, you know, there's mad angles. There's kind of, you know, where he's looking at these things, where he's following along. So it's very interesting in that. And that's why I'd really love to see it in HD. There's one really terrible one, though, where he has a fake crow on a hill looking down. And you go, that's a fake crow, man.
Morrigan.
Yeah. But
dead.
So it's a series of, I suppose, interviews with different people about their experiences in Iceland. And it's mad. And it's really good.
It is bonkers. Yeah. It's great fun. It's it's just that. Now, I'll put it this way: the way that the film shows it, that there's this openness to this otherness of Iceland, which is fucking kick-ass. It's really cool. Now, it reminds me of the way that, like, my grandparents would talk about stuff like that growing up in Ireland.
Yeah,
You know, everyone believed in ghosts. Everyone had seen one of the good people or fairies, and no one would ever go in a fairy ring. No one would, like, if there was a couple of shrubs growing in the middle of the field, they fucking stayed there.
Yeah,
you did not touch them.
Yeah, if there was a tree in the middle of the field, that's staying there. That's it. That's not moving anywhere.
You ain't touching that fucking tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll move your house plans around it.
Whole housing estates designed around a tree. Yeah.
Isn't it mad? But it just seems that, like, they're so open to it and just accepting of it, and this is just a normal fact of life that there are these things sharing Iceland with them. However, I interviewed a couple of Icelandic comedians many years ago for the old podcast, and I remember asking, I asked both of them about, like, so what's this all about? You all believe in elves? What the fuck? And I don't remember the answer for this from the second comedian, but the first one was like, yeah, look, when American tourists come over and they ask us that, like, yeah, we all say yeah. We all say yeah. Of course we all say yeah. But, like,
same as us and leprechauns. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because there's an interesting kind of point that I think it's the Prime Minister of Iceland from 1980 to like 1995. She was the first woman Prime Minister in the world. And I'm sure Prime Minister isn't the title, but it's whatever the equivalent of Taoiseach over there. And it's like there's only 250,000 on this huge rock, essentially. Like, it's a very small population. They were first to contain COVID, I think, as well. I remember reading that at one point. I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only 6 of them. Just don't talk to each other. And she was saying
that... They're like Swedish people at bus stops. You ever seen that?
Oh, no.
Google Swedish bus stops. Okay, Google it right now. Pause, Google it, and just see the amount of... Like, they didn't have to do anything about personal space in Sweden, because they just, like, stand like 10 miles apart from each other anyway.
Right, good, yeah.
Because I don't know why.
Whatever the new world we do enter after this pandemic is over, everyone should keep the 2 meters away from me. Really, please. Not that they ever did it, really, to be fair. But yeah, so she's saying that what happened in places like, and she says Spain and France, it's the example she gives, is that it's because they become so Catholicized, or the Catholic Church was so much in charge that it got rid of all of these things. And I can go, yeah, Ireland had it worse, to be fair. Well, maybe not as bad as the Spanish Inquisition. That was a bit tough. That was there was a lot going on there. But Ireland, and we still managed to retain an awful lot of that kind of problematic word, folk traditions or whatever.
Do you know what? And
it reminds me a lot of the Irish thing, as you were saying. It, like, I go, yeah, there's this very, very similar kind of feel. I'd
have to argue a little against that, though, because I remember a history teacher telling us years ago that the Catholicism in Ireland was, really up and down a lot, and even though it seems to have converted quickly, they just kind of changed names and stuff like that to make people fall in line. And it was like, the chieftains, the tribes, and the important people were converting, but it was all just politics, really. And whereas the normal people weren't all that into it, but like. He was saying, look, he had a very simple question for us. He's like, right. Think about on your drive to school here. Think about all the churches that you've passed. When were they all built? And you come to the conclusion they were all built either just before, during, or after the famine. So when Ireland's worst times were happening, that's when the church moved in. So we've really only had this strong, authoritative Catholic Church from the times of the famine up to, say, 1980s, 1990s.
1860, is it? 1880, what's the
like 46 was the worst year, wasn't it? Right, so around that time. That's when most churches in Ireland were being built.
Right, that's interesting. That's not something I'm aware of. Yeah.
No, look, obviously there was a strong presence. Of course there was. But this kind of authoritative one that was stamping out stuff,
is part of modernity.
That's modern. That's a modern Irish church. That's not the old.
Well, which would make sense, because that's the the spirit of the age, isn't it? Like it's kind of that whole thing. Yeah. So it's interesting, and obviously a reflection as well of the Age of Enlightenment and the response to all of that too, where there was slipping away of it and then become more authoritative in order to. Very good. I'll have to let that sit in my brain for a while. I love when little shifts like that happen. And go, oh, very good. Cool. So there's all these kind of wee vignettes, I suppose is the word, in this documentary, people, different talks. But there's one, and I like to talk to you about, because I just knew that Spud probably died at 100 million deaths when there was a particular line came out. There's about a guy, and he's talking about an invisible friend he had when he was a kid, and it was in this rock. And he was always, interacting with him the whole time. It was really great. And he was afraid to go with him back to his house. Spud knows what's coming. He was afraid to go back to his house in case he got caught somehow in the rock. And he goes, very good. That's the very likely. So anyway, his testicles descend, and then he doesn't see the kid anymore. So
why did they translate it like that? Why did you just say, then I went through puberty and I couldn't see the ghost anymore?
Which I assume, the literal translation probably is my testicles descend, but there's probably some Icelandic puberty equivalent word, or maybe it's not. But it's very interesting. So then my balls dropped, and the ghost disappeared.
So honest, like he's a cop.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a cop in any other country in the world just be like, yeah, I used to hang out. I used to hang out with an elf, and we used to go into rocks and out of rocks and stuff like that, and it was all cool. And now I'm a cop, and shit, you're under arrest for murder. You fucking scumbag. What? How can he arrest me? He's delusional. What the fuck?
But he looks so sad, and he's just kind of, there was some sadness from him. Whatever. The woman in the red
probably
coat.
misses his high balls.
yeah. His virility is gone. It's what they're taking away. The woman in the red coat, I had very little, not very little time, but I had a stand word. I found a university in the rock, and it could communicate with the girl at the back of the classroom, but not through. She wasn't talking to me. It was through mind. It was through the mind. Really, through the mind. All this happened in your mind. Very interesting. But she was kind of.
She found the most murderous hotel in the world. Is it this one?
I'm not sure. No, well, I don't know. So she's in it a couple of times.
She's the same woman?
I don't. She's a red coat and she's walking around different things. I'm not sure because I know she's in it a few times, and it was.
I think there's one scene where she does some medium stuff in a hotel.
Oh yeah, because the cops talk about we do talk to people, to help us solve murders and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And she's down there and she's like, there was a murder here, and here's where the woman was dragged in. And
yeah. No, I'm not sure if it's the same woman.
Like, does the guy who owns the hotel not know this? Like, it's like Shining. There's so many fucking murders going on here.
Yeah.
Like that should be like if that was in Cork, this would be like Ireland's most haunted hotel. Stay here for €500 a night, and people would be like, oh gee whiz, hot Molly, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then all you need to do is fucking bang on the door at fucking 1:30 at night.
Yeah, go, oh, murder!
I am the ghost of the Cork Hotel. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I think we're onto something. We should do that. But she would seem very kind of the most kind of, I don't know, a bit woo, and even though all the stories were, the kind of people going, yeah, this happened, it didn't really matter. But she seemed to have some sort of, not agenda, that's too strong a word, but it just kind of felt, yeah, I've met people like you, in real life who believed this, and it's just like as if it felt to me of all of them like she was the one that was making it up or something. That was the least I believed, which is probably the only one. This is probably the only one actually telling the truth in the whole thing. But a couple of different where it's so strange because that one where the teacher's talking about the event that happened at the school.
That's shot really well.
That's shot really well. That's good. Yeah. But it's also like when some of them are going, there's a woman on the ground and there's a weird angle and her kids are behind her and there's a dog and she's talking about this horrific thing that happened and that, the two kids are just there. I'd go, don't say that in front of your kids. Come on. Seriously. There was a stranger in the house and we didn't know who it was or whatever it was. But each of the angles or the shots of the people they're interviewing are all it's all done well. They're I don't know. It's like it's interesting that he
it's great. It's really well done. Your man. I would spend a lot of time thinking about the shots and pulled them off really well because it's like. These aren't actors, you know what I mean?
No.
Like there's
it definitely feels scripted in some way, but it doesn't have that forced scripted thing, that awkwardness.
But it's like, look, Jerry, I need you to stand here, and we're going to walk this way. And then I'll ask you a question, and we'll do that. So it's scripted in that way, but it's not like.
But the two lads on the beach, where the one guy's looking at it and going, oh, and the ghost, and then the guy comes walk up behind, and exactly right time. It's done well, like. But that can look really awkward if it's not done well. Like just go, oh, like if RTE made this documentary, it'd be one of the worst documentaries ever made. It'd be so awkward and horrible. It'd be terrible. But so
someone was telling me they won't use. Maybe they're using now, but up to a couple of years ago, they wouldn't use the stabilized things for holding the cameras.
Yeah.
They wouldn't use them in RTE because
gimbals.
The union gimbals. Yeah, the union hadn't trained them. No, we need to be trained how to use them. What? What do you mean? No, just put it in your hand and it's easy. You just hold it. I know. I mean, sure, we'd need training for that. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? No. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's RTE.
That's RTE. That's the national.
Imagine having a cool job as a cameraman, but still being an arsehole like that.
What kid are you? Yeah.
What the fuck is your problem? Like, you have a great job, douchebag.
So
go down and go be a cockle farmer or something. That's what you want.
It goes over then into sea monsters and it gets on a boat and you can get very seasick talking to your man on the boat. Can you get back and land, please? Just talking about the different things. I find as it goes on, the documentary goes on, the more and more kind of new age, weird, silly, where it finally gets to, like putting pyramids on your head and, gets into kind of standard new agey stuff where you would find anywhere. It wasn't really kind of isolated to Iceland. You'd find that kind of stuff towards the end in Ireland and any of these places. So it starts off with the more bizarre stuff into the more kind of standardy type things. It's hard to maybe talk any more about it without just giving away all the stories, which is kind of, you should watch it yourself rather than
there's no point giving away the story. Castanega's name comes up.
Yeah, interesting.
Castanega's name comes up a lot in Anton Wilson's book as well.
Yeah, he'd be a lot. Yeah. But he was huge. He was such huge news,
I suppose. Yeah. I like there's a couple of things I really liked in it. One of the women was talking about how there's a guy in it called Ananda who's super annoying.
Oh man,
skip past his bits.
Yeah, he's obviously some sort of channeled alien or something, is it? I was going to look him up and I go, I don't even want to know what he is.
Yeah, I don't know what.
He's the only English speaker in the documentary.
Yeah, I'd like to watch this back and get the names of a lot of the people involved and look them up and see kind of what they're doing now. Like the therapist. What the fuck? Is he a therapist or a ghost therapist?
I know,
That's bizarre.
Yeah. Very strange. Yeah.
What he does. No, we can spoil that one. So he would get these phone calls for people. Look, I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling bad. This is not good. And he's like, well, is there a ghost or anything paranormal? Yeah, actually, there is. Yeah. Right. And is it scary? Yeah, I'll be right there. And then he arrives up.
Gives them a massage.
He rocks up with his rosary beads. And he's like, right, chill, motherfuckers. I got this shit. Okay, I got this. And then he takes the ghosts and walks them down to the cathedral. And then they just descend into light.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's a particular
that's the most awesome job on the planet.
Yeah, it's a particular shaft of light that he brings them towards in this church. But
how awesome is that?
Did he say something really strange? My hobby is taking on the pain of other people, or something.
That was
like
the other guy. That was the sheep farmer. Yeah. He invented this aura computer.
Oh yeah,
what
that's interesting.
That's cool. I want to look him up.
Well,
see more about that.
Yeah, I think that if you're looking at, there's Krillian photography. I think that's called. I don't know if that's exactly what he was doing, but there is there's a checkered history of that.
That was in Anton Wilson's book as well. What do you call it? Yeah, there's the bit about the aliens. Did you get the NASA or the NSA false flag thing? Did you pick up on that?
No.
So, I don't know where I came across it first. Probably John Keel or something like that. There's this thing that whenever the grey aliens are talked about in a like they're going to come down, they're going to take over. You got to be careful of these guys. If you see them, report them. So apparently this is an NSA common false flag and Men in Black kind of thing.
Oh, right, right.
Apparently. And she comes out with this.
Yeah, she did.
Because they had there was this prediction that some aliens were going to show up on, I don't know, whatever, 23rd of the 23rd of the 23rd, all right?
Yeah.
For you Discordians. And there was a dude there.
A news reporter.
He was neither skeptic. He was just there as a filmmaker. He made a film. He's like, yeah, nothing shut up.
I love it. Like, in my estimation, nothing happened. And then it just comes away.
In my estimation. So then Mrs. Woo or one of the Mrs. Women, or there's a few of them in it. She comes back and says, "Yeah, well, he didn't see him, but everyone else saw the alien."
Yeah, the aliens didn't appear to any reporters.
Right.
Why would they appear to any
that was
reporters?
it, wasn't it? Yeah. Fucking hell. So, like, what if Peter Parker was there?
She goes, and we all went to a lecture, and it was in a round room. It's like, what? And the aliens give this lecture, and we're saying that, well, the Greys, not so good. Oh, they're trying to take over the world.
So, like, Peter Parker and, what's Superman's real name? Clark Gable.
Clark Gable. Nice. Clark Gable. Yeah.
Kent. What's his name? Kent. Clark Kent. Clark Kent.
Kal-El.
And
that's his real name.
I don't know. Give me another one of those weirdos.
Bruce Wayne.
Wolverine. What's his name?
What is it?
Logan something.
Logan, yeah.
Barry.
Logan Barry, yeah.
So Logan, Peter Parker, and
Jim Logan.
Kent, Chris Kent, whoever, I don't know who these people are.
Chris Pratt.
Show up, and the aliens are like, no. Put on your mask. And fucking Wolverine is like, I'm fucking gonna kick your fucking ass. But like, yeah, so she comes out with this thing about the Greys. The Greys are super dangerous, and you have to be careful of them. Yada yada yada. And it's like, that rang some bells for me. It's like, okay, maybe the baddie Yanks showed up and did a projection thing for them. And
yeah. I remember years ago about the Greys when you mentioned those. Stuart Wilde used to go on about them as well. And I started reading about them. One of those nights that I was, when you start reading about these things, it all gets a bit creepy and you start afraid something's going to happen. But then he was talking about.
I forgot to lock the back door. No!
It was funny because after I was reading, I was glitching the Matrix class and I started reading High Strange stuff as well, all these different stories. And I was kind of feeling, there's someone in the room. I was going, hello. But anyway, he was talking about the Greys coming through the walls and attacking him when he was. When I was going, and then I remembered that my next door neighbours when I was growing up were called the Greys, and I was just thinking of them coming through the wall, and that was it. It was just funny. It was stupid. You're being too noisy. Whoa.
Well, that's weird. The birth photographer, like that's the worst job on the planet. The birth photographer.
Oh, for the baby's being born, Dan.
She takes photos of babies being born.
No thanks. That can't be good.
It's a miracle of birth. It's just this wonderful. It's so beautiful. It's not icky and disgusting. Like the sheep being born. It's a miracle.
Oh yeah, it opens with like, I thought it's going to have three eyes or something like that.
I mean, like it's horrible.
Yeah,
that's why we get doctors to do it now. You know, because
because
horrible.
Finesse had a cesarean. By the time I seen the baby, he was cleaned. So grand.
Oh yeah,
I didn't suffer the horror. But,
the first one, when he came out, he liked the planet so much he just pissed. And, no, don't like it here. This is what it's worth.
Yeah, that's what I think. Good man. Long may it last.
She says something good though. She says, she says, "You're born crying and you die laughing." And the way that was the line she had after. But the way she explained it before is that, like, it's traumatic being born. It obviously, But then when you die, like, you're kind of like everyone's gathered around and they're all crying for you, but you're up above going, "Ha! What are they crying for me for? Fucking I was a loser,"
There's
or whatever.
A lovely thing in Olafur Arnold, who's also from Iceland and obviously dead into magic, going by this video, but it's some kind of piece, but it's the movie of whatever. It's the last movie, but he's talking about one of the songs. There's like a voiceover, and so it must be some interview with somebody. This woman's talking about the whole thing that when you're in the womb and you feel like this is your entire world and you're so safe and you're so protected and all it is, and then towards the end when you're coming out and you're being born, it must be the most horrific, traumatic thing in the world, and it must actually feel like you were dying. Like this is it's all over, and then you realise that it's only the beginning. I was going, that's awesome, that's really good. But it's like there's definitely some sort of magic-y type thing feeling you get, like, because the feeling I get from watching this documentary where there's like it touches at something magic-y. That's,
you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe then that's why like us cesareans just feel kind of let down all the time,
because we didn't have that.
Like we didn't go through that. No,
we used
cesareans have. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready. I was put in the microwave for 2 fucking weeks.
What?
And so separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Separation anxiety that I spoke about a couple of weeks ago that I obviously passed on to my children. So sorry, dads, about that. I didn't mean it. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I used to know it. They got the things around my head and pulled me out. So I'm stubborn as fuck. So
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Here's the thing, though. Sorry about the documentary, though, that you have to be careful about, and kind of points at that. So this feeling you get of this magic thing, and I got it from the Olafur Arnalds film, which you should watch. It's brilliant. If you like Olafur Arnalds, if you don't watch it because you won't like it. And it points at, but it's like if this was a documentary and it was Americans, and it was and rather than elves, they were talking about Jesus, and it was exactly the same documentary. I would just think it's nuts, and I would get nothing from it, because you have to be kind of, I suppose, aware of the exoticness that you're getting from something being slightly different, which is, this great landscape of Iceland, and it can, it evokes certain things that, I just kind of noticed myself going, am I just really falling in love with Iceland? Like if this was people I actually knew, I wouldn't take them seriously at all. And I just thought it was kind of an interesting kind of thing, that how I suppose things like Eastern spirituality and religion are very kind of feel exotic, or that's drawn to something, whereas I suppose from over there when they look at Catholicism they go, oh, that's so weird, and look at these rituals and all they're doing, and there's an attraction to just it being different from what you have.
Yeah, of course,
in a way. But that said,
it's like the thing, like that. It's like that thing that the highest selling beauty products in the West are tanning products. Yeah,
right.
The highest selling beauty products over in India are
whitening,
bleaching products. Whitening,
right? Yeah. It's just grass.
Mad, isn't it?
Grass is always greener. But having said that, though, I do think there's something about the Icelandic and that kind of thing that they're just, but it does echo a kind of feeling that you can get about the Irish stuff as well, like the thing that you were talking about, our grandparents, and even my mum has some amazing stories of stuff that she experienced when she was growing up, that just doesn't happen anymore. It's just like that seemed to be something that always happened, and you can kind of go, oh, we've become more scientific and we don't believe all these things. But
I hope it comes back, because I presume it's happening, but people are just like, I'm not telling that to anyone. No one will believe me. Because no one believes each other nowadays. That's the thing. Like, you get the impression from like these Icelanders that everyone just, it's a film. And like I said earlier when I interviewed the comedian, she's like, yeah, it's all nonsense. we only tell it.
Yeah, but if someone was asking us about things as well, we'd say it's nonsense. But like, if you talk to an awful lot of people in Ireland, they would answer, no, it's not nonsense. This is, there is all of these things. It depends literally on who you ask, I suppose.
Of course.
Yeah. But we don't believe in leprechauns. Only when you're about Mr. America, you come over here. Yeah, leprechauns.
Maps.
But as you said, like, you cannot, tree in a field, the fairy thing, that's not to be fucked with. And in RD here where I lived, they did get rid of a fairy ring when they were building some. Yeah. And
farmer died after.
I don't know the full story, because it was just kind of, it's one of the walks, it's the old railway line, and if you walk down it, that and Flash going, oh, that's where the fairy ring was, and I was going, what? It's this town cursed. Have I come to a cursed land? Yeah, when we were building the house as well, there's a tree at the front that the father-in-law came out and goes, nope, can't take that down, that has to stay there. And so now it's the holly tree. Right. It's even worse, because more of a thing, because there's something also attached to a holly tree in particular that you can't. Touch.
Holly. Yeah. When we moved in here, we had two big pine trees, or not pine trees, the evergreen trees going outside. Larch, I think, larch and pine. And we cut them down straight away. and if I was to move in now, I'd be like, no fucking way, they're staying there. Old, they have spirit, they can talk to me, And but like, I still have chunks of them that I'll end up selling as art or something like that. But in fairness, they weren't looked after. They did have to come down. They really weren't. The people who lived here before us didn't really, other than cutting the grass, they did nothing with the trees in the garden. So we had to.
Oh well.
And anyway, I've made up for it. I've planted fucking loads of trees since then. I'm sorry. They come to me in my dreams, large and pine spirit. I'm like, fuck you, Spud. Fuck you. There's the dude at the end, man. What did you think of him with his triangle?
Yeah, that's the same when I started getting into very kind of standard new agey stuff. I remember they're putting like shapes on top of the chakras, which are
that was the chakra thing. Yeah.
But I remember being at a conference when I was in Glasgow. It's actually when I seen Stuart Wilde. There was a guy with a pyramid on his head. I was kind of going, oh, okay. These things aren't just jokes. People in real life do this. Stuart Wilde was just laughing. But what are you at, man?
Whoa.
But that was the whole thing about pyramids, wasn't it? That they would keep razor blades sharp, or your fruit wouldn't rot if you put them underneath it. There was a whole big trend of that at one stage.
What?
Hey, see, you missed all the fun of not being into the new age.
Too busy putting half of... Oh my god. I can't answer you there. Oh, your dad's ringing me. Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, well, then maybe it won't come out then in the recording, so it'll be alright. Just ignore it. Yeah, he had this thing about Jesus was a bit slow. I thought that was funny.
Just explain that one again. I can't vaguely remember.
He was saying that
I feel like I haven't watched half this documentary, and I watched it twice, so I don't know what the story is.
my brain. He was saying, so his idea of kind of how
he's drawn the triangle and the wrinkle. Yeah, so it's the group soul.
So you're on the bottom, and then you kind of you incarnate up as long as you've done okay on the last level, and eventually you get to the top. Yeah, the ascendant.
He's definitely into theosophy.
He said that there's like each kind of group that comes down is a group of about 1,500 souls, and they all have like a purpose, or they're all part of a purpose. So it's something like a HDAT. You know what I mean? Like there's one HDA for 1,500 people, and then so the last person to achieve what this HDA wants, then they become a Buddha, a Jesus. And so he's like,
because
Jesus was probably quite slow. He was the last one to get there.
He has the access to all of the knowledge of the 1499 people. So if you're in the group, you have access to all their knowledge. So Jesus, being the last person, had access to all the knowledge, but he was also the slowest to get there. That was kind of a veiled insult.
So, okay, wait, no. Holy fuck! I'm going to try and access the knowledge of 14,900 people. Then.
Yeah.
That's a ritual. Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's try and do that. Imagine how smart I could be.
Well, that'd be like
couldn't be any dumber. Says all
Alice Bailey stuff as well. They would talk about group souls, that you're part of a group soul, and that's one of the levels that you're involved with. Yeah. So I mean, it's I hope you, but like I mean, I'm sure you must have had that feeling that that your kin aren't here or something like that. That you're kind of separated. I've definitely have had that feeling that as almost it's that kind of the thing. What?
1 + 4 + 9 + 9 equals what?
13.
20 fucking 3.
Oh, 23.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
There you go.
That's brilliant.
Beam.
Well, God bless Eris, Sophia, Shakira. I can never say that one.
Shakira.
Shakina. Okay. Shekhinah is like Shakti. Marco was telling me, not so much like.
No, you were asking was Shekhinah.
Tell him it's Babylon.
Babylon, yeah, he was saying it's more equivalent to Shakti, not that Shekhinah was. That's my reading. So Babylon.
Yeah, because Shekhinah wouldn't be sexy like Babylon. She doesn't have the sex
element.
Yeah, not that. Yeah, because Babylon she's like
the whore.
Female. no, but it's like female erotic desire. That's one of the things. One of
the things. Yeah, I mean, the red goddess is a many faceted goddess.
Jewish goddesses wouldn't be into that kind of thing at all.
No, depending, depend on where you go. Anyway, there's another documentary that you should watch if you're interested. It's called Huldufolk 102. I can put a link, and it's another kind of slightly more recent documentary about the hidden folk of Iceland. That I've watched about half of, and it's really good. I'd say you'd enjoy it. And then a guy who did this. I wish you could get his other documentaries, because he seems to have made some really cool ones. There's one, Angel of the North, which is about people who are affected by a particular painting. This looks brilliant. It's
cool.
Pojolan Alkali or something. I don't know. It's again French, but I think it could actually be. It looks somewhat Eastern European. Maybe it's Polish. I have no idea. Because I'm not cultured.
Wait, no.
Like you.
Is it the Czestochowa thing? Where are you getting this from? YouTube?
No, from his IMDb page.
How do you spell his name?
Angel of North is a journey through. No, it's Finland. So there you go. So during which we meet different people who all have a close relationship to the beloved painting "Wounded Angel" by Hugo Simberg. Brilliant. If anyone has that, please send that to me. I would love to watch that. Or any of his other.
His name's Jean-Michel Roux.
Roux, yeah. What else has he done? Angel North, Heart of the Earth. Les Mysteries du Sneffelgohul. That must be brilliant. The Mysteries of the Sneffelgohul. Brilliant. Whatever. Yeah, so He has a website, but it's kind of hasn't been updated. And remember when there was the big changeover from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0? Remember that 20 years ago? I think his website was made in the Web 1.0 era. So, it and GeoCities. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'd love to see it in HD. I'd love to see a follow-up documentary talking to the kids now that it's 20 years later, what they think of it, or any of these people now, that they still have the same experiences, they still believe, especially the kids at the school. Apart from one goes, well, I wasn't in that day. So, yeah. But it'd be interesting to see the different, how it, because it is 20 years old, and you forget like a lot has happened in the last 20 years, and even in the modernisation, like how different Ireland would have been 20 years ago. Like we just had the Euro 20 years ago, and that seems like that's been around for your entire life, But I will give this documentary 8 Peter Kingsleys out of 10. That's what I
would too. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Kingsley rating. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's brilliant. Even I wasn't even going to watch it with herself because I thought it might be a bit scary or something. But no, it's great. Absolutely, it's brilliant. It's great crack. Same as you. Love to watch it in HD, HD, just to see the awesome scenery in that. But it's good crack. It makes you want to go to. It makes me want to do 2 things. One is go to Iceland, but everyone wants to go to Iceland anyway. Yeah. And number 2 is to just be more open about this stuff. Like, if they can be open about it, why the fuck can't the rest of us? And it's not that hard. You just say, you ever seen a ghost? And someone will say, no, I don't believe in him. But then the person sitting beside that one will say, oh, I've got a story for you. Like, definitely.
And there's even, I think, a warning in this documentary because, like, let's stop lying about these experiences that we're having, and just talk about them. Everyone's having them, so why pretend we're not? Or something. That's very much paraphrasing, but it's something along. Could have been, maybe it's in the other documentary. I don't know if it's not registering with you. Maybe it was in this one. But you'll enjoy the other one too. Hidden.
Yeah, well, the only thing there were bits that I missed because when I was writing down notes on my phone,
because it's all, I
wasn't looking at the screen because it's all
it's harder. I find it harder to retain some stuff with subtitles sometimes because it's part of your brain is just trying to understand it, and you're not. Where it's particularly if you, because for the documentaries I tend to watch them twice. Once I'll just watch them as normal, and then the night before or the day of I'll watch it at twice the speed just to refresh myself, which you can't do with a subtitled one.
But it's, I mean,
well,
it's not like, sometimes you watch a subtitled film and it's a bit hard because the language is fucking weird or something. But Icelandic's lovely. Yeah,
and particularly if you ever watch anything from Finland, that they are very different language. You can understand none of it, but it's very fast. The subtitles, you have to go, what? Will you slow down, please? So much going on. Yeah, good. I enjoyed it.
Right then. Bye, everyone.
Bye! We should have learned how to say bye in Icelandic. Yeah. Icelandic, bye!